I'm Freddie Stover. I'm out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Herstory TV and the Herstory podcast. Today, I feel like I have met a sister from another mother, my beautiful sister coming all the way from the United States. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tell
Hi,
us
thank
your
you.
name, how old you are, where you're based,
Well,
and share your story today.
well, thank you for having me. I feel very honored to be here. And it's just, it's a humbling experience. I love it. I am Miss Freddie. That is what I'm known by my musical stage name. But you can call me Freddie. I'm Freddie Stover. I'm out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I'm a mom of two wonderful boys. And I'm a nurse, surgical oncology. That's what I do. That's my trade, 34 years of nursing. And I'm a musician. I'm the singer of two of my own bands for 25 years. And I am a proud 63-year-old going to be 64 next month.
Wonderful. It's great to celebrate life, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So tell me, where does your story begin?
My story begins, it's so many avenues, branches of it. But my story as a musician started when I was a child. I'd go to church and I love going to church, not only to hear the message, but also to listen to the choir sing. And as I became older, I started singing the choir. And then fast forward, I started singing my first blues band and I loved it. My mother listened to blues. Both my parents were from the South, and my mother listened to blues. My mother and my father listened to country. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand neither one of them. But I grew up to appreciate it. And then after that, being the mother of a single child, because it was just me and my oldest, I had to figure out something. One day I woke up at 25 years old and I said, I got to get myself together. I can't party for the rest of my life. It's me and my son. And so I went to nursing school, became a nurse. And then the music followed. And then I had another child. And so, it's brought about a lot. It's an awakening for me because of what I do in life. I'm a breast cancer survivor twice. And I tell people, you don't know how people feel who've been diagnosed with cancer until you have it yourself. God forbid you get it. But my first time when I was diagnosed, I cried for 24 hours straight, like no sleep. I couldn't stop crying. The second time I told the surgeon who did the first surgery, I said, it's back. It's in the other breast. I've already requested off the following week. And he's like, no, let's biopsy. It came back 3 days. When do you want to have the surgery? Next Wednesday. And so that's what happened. I almost died the second time because of infections and all that. And so I can actually relate to people. And so I volunteer every year, except for last year because of COVID and the restrictions. But I volunteer to, sing to raise awareness. And for the Breast Cancer Foundation here in Pennsylvania, it's a national foundation. And for autism, my youngest is autistic. That was a challenge for me. But I've learned to embrace it because now I have an awareness and understanding of it. So I volunteer my time, and it's gotten me now that I'm going to do something music in ministry. And that's thanks to Pastor Greg Spencer. His church is in Brackenridge, Pennsylvania. It's probably maybe like 45 minutes from me. And he's been asking me for the last several months, well, Miss Freddie, where do you see yourself going in the ministry? And, like God throws bricks at me. Thank you very much. Not real ones, but he throws them where it's like, okay, that commercial, there's a commercial. I never see it. They hit themselves up the head. Oh, I wish I had a V8. Okay. I wish I had like some kind of, biblical sense. Well, I've been getting it all this time. And people have been asking me, when are you going to sing gospel now? And so now I've been incorporating gospel into my music. So that's where I'm at. That's what's going on. That's where, how it started. But I think this is just the beginning of a beginning.
What a journey. It's something that happens when you have a brush with death.
Yeah.
I went through a separation, divorce, ended up collapsing in a rice field in Indonesia with congestive heart failure.
Ah.
And I remember coming out of that, my health is still not perfect, but it gave me a new lease to life in a very strange way. I wake up every morning, and when I breathe, I'm just so grateful that I'm here. And you're talking about your ministry. For me, my work is in empowering other women. I've been doing this for the last 21 years since I left Africa and moved to New Zealand. And I think, like you, it's when we tap into that God-given gift.
Yes.
You sing. I've been cyber stalking you. I've been watching all of your videos on YouTube since I heard that I was going to interview you. And I admire it because I can't sing. But I think I do some things different in that I use my voice to tell stories. So sure. I, in a small way, can entertain just with the power of storytelling. But man, your voice is amazing. And I am so glad that you're tapping into this new path that you're going to go down. You're going to
thank you. And I get that a lot from a lot of people. There's a story that I tell, and I tell people, out of all that I've done besides giving birth to my children, the third best story that I can tell people how music, that I know I'm supposed to do this. Yes. I was singing in a venue with my blues band some years back. And this young woman comes in with a nursing uniform, all white. She stays a whole night, has the same drink. She comes up to me when I'm done. Oh, you sounded great. I love what you did. I said, I'm like, oh, where do you work at? We're swapping words, nurses now. Yeah. And I said, oh, I'm glad you stopped in. She said, you know what she said? And this blew my mind. I felt that I probably had died, came back to life. Somebody's doing CPR on me. This is how I felt. She told me she had stopped into that venue long enough to get a drink, to go home, and she was going to kill her husband because she found out he was cheating on her. Well, I didn't know what to say for a few minutes. And I said, she had a young baby. And I said, well, what's the baby going to do when you're not here and he's not here? You're in jail, he's dead. And she looked at me. I said, it's just not about you and your husband. It's about the baby. Yeah. I said, I may be wrong about this, but you're talking to somebody who came out of a domestic relationship some years prior to that, domestic violent relationship. And I said, you can always get a man. I said, my mother used to tell me that. And I used to think she knows she's talking about, but she knew. Yes. I said, but that baby is precious. And I said, even though the baby may not realize what's been going on, somebody's going to tell that baby a story. Yes. And that baby may regret both of you. For your transgressions. So she went home, and I'm telling you, Gertrude, for weeks, I watched the news. I'm like, oh, please, God. I prayed, please don't let her, because that means I'm going to have to go to court. And, months later, same venue, she comes in, she stays, till our show's over, comes up to me, thanks me. And she says, that night I went home and told my husband, I knew you're cheating. I'm taking the baby. I'm leaving. She said her husband did not contest. He did not fight. He knew it was wrong. Fast forward a couple years later, maybe 3 or 4 years later, same woman, I'm out an outdoor venue doing a family-friendly show. She comes up. I said, oh, I wonder if this is the husband that, they must have patched things up. Nope. Yes. She divorced that one. She met somebody else, nice guy. They had a couple kids. The end.
Oh, how beautiful.
Last time I saw her was a couple years ago, and she's happy as ever.
That is just incredible.
Yes.
That's the thing that happens, right? When you are gifted with the source of inspiration, it's just a moment in time where somebody hears you. I was invited to speak at a conference up on the North Island. A lot of farmers were committing suicide because of the drought. And the mayor of the small town says to me, Gertrude, please come to Hamilton. I need you to speak to my farmers. I'm like, I'm not a psychologist. What am I going to say? Yeah. And he said to me, Gertrude, when I heard your story, I felt as if you were holding up a mirror to my life. And for the first time, I realized how lucky I was to live in New Zealand, where my children would never starve to death. He said, just come and share your story the same way you did it before. So he got a theater that seats 1,000 people. New Zealand is small, right? This is a tiny rural town. I'm thinking, who's going to show up? It was winter. I called him a week before. He said, we sold out on tickets. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
I went to this theater. I get up and I tell my story. And I had printed copies of my book for free. And I just said to everybody, it cost me $3 to print this book. My girlfriends were at the door holding baskets. If you've got any loose change, just help me recover the cost of my printing costs. So everybody got a book. I made $10,000 that night.
Oh,
people came and gave towards my foundation that I support in Zimbabwe. And there was one farmer who waited until everybody left. And he said to me, Gertrude, I was on a cliff, about to drive my car over a cliff. When the email from the mayor's office popped into my mailbox, I was writing an apology letter to my wife for what I was going to do. He said, you saved my life. He signed a check for $1,000. He didn't have the money. He said, just hold on to this check. When I am back on my feet, I will call you. 18 months later, he called me and said, Gertrude, go and cash the check. So what happens, right? When we inspire and we share and we use what God has given us, our voices, and that's what the Herstory platform is all about. Thank you for sharing that story.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I'm, you know, I don't give a second thought. It's kind of interesting you say that, because I'm telling you, I don't know if I have the face before the pandemic, because, you know, when we have the mask on, you can't see anything. But I'm telling you, strangers, I mean, you've heard me sing, but you don't know anything about me. People will have, they still do it, will come up and start bearing their souls, their heart, their troubles. And I look at them and, you know, in my head, and I know they see the look. I try to hide my face. You sure you want to be telling me that? You don't know if I'm the government. You don't know who I am. And then it dawned on me. I said, it's not for me to question. I am supposed to listen to them, because apparently the music has drawn them to me. And so now they need to talk and see. And 90% of my job as a nurse, now that I've got the dream job, Monday through Friday, no holidays, no weekends, no on call, I'm on the phone 90% of the time with people, Gertrude, and I'm telling you, I have to be careful with my emotions over the phone. If I don't feel good, if I'm depressed, tired, I cannot do that. Every day I pray. For 2.5 years, that job, I said, Lord, please give me the strength to do my job and do it well, because you gave me that job, nobody else. How I got that job, I've never gotten a job. I applied one day, the next day I had an interview, the third day I was hired. What nursing job is like that? Here, at least here in the United States.
That is crazy. Well, listen, I want us to end this interview in a very unusual way. You're the first creative woman I've had on the show. Can you serenade us with a little song before we go?
I can. And how about my new single that came out a couple of weeks ago that I dedicated to my siblings, because we had lost our mother April 24th. So, and I actually dedicated to everyone around the world, and it's called Something to Believe in. So you ready?
Yes.
Everybody's searching for answers. Everybody tries to find some meaning in their lives. Where do we belong? Who will be our shelter? Looking for salvation, a haven in the storm. We all need something to believe in. We all need a light to see us through. We all need something to believe in. I found something to believe in a you. I could go on.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you for serenading us and gracing us with your presence today. I can't wait to finally meet you in person when you come to New Zealand, because I know you're coming.
Oh, absolutely. And between me and you and everybody else, ever since I was a kid, I've been fascinated with New Zealand. And I said, when I get older, and hopefully before I die, I want to visit New Zealand. And that's just so strange that when I thought of it, I said, wait a minute, hold on. I think God's trying to tell me something. Really? I get a trip to New Zealand if I went? Absolutely. I'm there.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Herstory movement is about uplifting women through the power of our stories and the power of our voices. One woman at a time, one story at a time. We're having an online summit, 14th to the 23rd of May, and I would love you to speak at that summit as well. I'll send you more information. So
Okay.
go on to our website, theherstorycircle.com, and please share these videos with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues. Help us get these stories and these voices out. So this is Gertrude in beautiful Wellington, New Zealand. I'll be back again tomorrow with yet another fascinating lady. And Miss Freddye, thank you so much. It's been an absolute
You're welcome.
pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm very honored. Thank you again. I do appreciate you and all you do.
Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.